Family Credit Management is a non-profit credit counseling agency. We specialize in helping people take control of their debt.
People call in every day. By the end of the call, they're feeling better. They know there's some hope out there.
For over a decade, Family Credit Management has helped tens of thousands of Americans deal with the burden of debt.
If you're struggling with debt, the most important thing is to take control of it. Now's the time.
Family.
Hey, and welcome back. We're back another week with just some helpful tips and ideas for you. My name is Letitia Griffin. I'm your consumer advocate, certified credit counselor, here to share with you today anything that you may need, any topics that you would like to discuss with finances, debt, dealing with your credit report, collection agencies, things of that nature. I'm here for the next 30 minutes or so. So always feel free to call in and ask your question. You can reach us at 312-738-1060. Now, if you do not get the opportunity to call in, you can contact a counselor at Family Credit, and they're on standby, ready for you at 800-994-3328. So again, the number is 800-994-3328. So, one of the things that we've been talking about over the past few weeks is that the holidays are upon us. So I hope you guys have everything done that you've prepared to do, that you have taken my advice, and just really watched your spending habits. Remember, you've got family or friends out there that may or may not be expecting anything, but you want to make sure that you keep you in mind. That's the important thing that we wanted to discuss today. Just keeping yourself together, especially financially fit during the holidays and the holiday season. Again, we've got the counselors on standby at 800-994-3328. They're there to assist you and address any questions that you may have regarding your debt, regarding finances, anything like that. And take advantage of the chat feature at familycredit.org, where you can chat online with the counselor directly. So we were talking about just making sure that we keep our spending habits intact and watching ourselves, making sure that we stay safe. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about, just touching on your goals for 2018, because guess what? In a couple of weeks, the new year will be here, and you want to be ready, and you want to make sure that you have yourself right and prepared for it. Now, a lot of times people will always talk about, well, I haven't set my New Year resolution, or I haven't set my goals, or I need to just look at my resolutions. But this time I challenge you and I want you to go a step deeper, because what we're finding is that resolutions typically don't work. A lot of people, they make promises to themselves and they say that they're going to change and do things differently, but then that does not happen. Within a matter of days, you've reverted back to your old habits, and that has to do with spending, with your health. So with everything that we go through, the important thing is that we want to teach ourselves how to modify our behavior. That's the important thing. Not setting a resolution, but making sure that you do what you need to do to change the course of your life and change those things, those patterns, those spending habits that you may have. So what are some ways that you can do that? Always feel free to share those with us here. And like I said, you can reach us at 312-738-1060. So we're talking about how to change those habits. And over the holidays, we notice that there are a lot of sales and a lot of items that have gone on sale that people are hammering for. They're trying to get. They want to impress their kids. They want to impress those people around them. And what they're finding is that, guess what? Right now is the time of the year where most of those things are out of stock at the store. And sometimes you may find people that are looking to sell maybe online or something like that, but they come at a higher cost. Just like everything we go through, you need to look at the options and weigh and see, is it something that you really want to purchase? And most times we find that it is not. When we talk about setting our goals for next year, you want to keep in mind your spending right now as well. And look at everything that you've done so far, because you will have to enter a recovery period for yourself to get things back on track. Counselors can help you with that as well, and they're on standby. They can help you with your budgeting, send you out some material. There's some great budgeting guides and material that are available to you that the counselors will help you with as well. So keep that in mind. Now, we're not only thinking about our goals for next year, but you have to go a step further. Like I said, you want to look down and see what it is that you need to change. And the first place that you start with that is looking at your monthly budget, looking at your income that you have coming in and what you have going out, and also looking at your credit report. We want to keep our eyes on the credit report. Remember to look at it all the time. Monitor your credit report. Also, another thing that a lot of people are experiencing is they haven't really been checking their bank account. I've had a few consumers come to me this week that said that they've gotten charges and haven't even really noticed what they were for. So you want to keep that in mind. Pay attention to everything that you do as far as that's concerned. Now, a lot of that also goes into making sure that your information is safeguarded and in a safe place. So all of the things that we've been talking about over the past few years, they all go into us planning for ourselves and planning for the future. Looks like we've got our first caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, my collection accounts are about 5 years old, and they have been calling me a lot recently, but I don't have money to pay them. Do I have to pay them?
Okay, a lot of people are struggling with that, especially by them being old debts. Now, here's the thing. If it's an old collection account, you owe the money. It's your debt. You know that it's yours. And yes, you do owe the money because you know you have never paid them. But like you said, you don't really have the money to pay them. So you need to keep that in mind too. Now, when you think about an old debt, the creditor has so long that they are able to contact you, and a lot of times those creditors can only contact you for 7 years. And I'm going to go over this a little bit only because we're going to be talking about dealing with collection agencies and creditors as well tonight too. So if you got an old debt, and first thing I want you to do is look at the date, see if it's on your credit report. Look at the date on the credit report, and then once you do that, make a plan whether you need to pay it or not. Now, if you don't have money, they're calling you, you can do what's called a cease and desist, and we'll go over that a little bit later on in the show too. We'll go over the cease and desist process, and that'll help deal with that as well. Part of working with your goals has to do whether or not you've been attentive, whether you've looked at your report, whether you've gotten your finances under control too. So when we look at that, one of the huge steps that we also want to deal with is dealing with the collection agencies and dealing with the things that are on our credit report. A lot of times I hear from people, oh, my credit is totally trashed. Oh, I can't do it. I don't know how to fix my credit, and I don't know what to do. No one will give me credit, so I'm just not going to try. But I need you to keep in mind that when you're dealing with your credit report stays with you for years and years, and it follows you. And as your life changes, your credit report changes. But everyone is looking at your credit score, and your score only looks at the last 24 months worth of history. So that's the good part. Even though you've got some bad information there, if you're looking at building up your score, you are focused on the last 2 years. That's where you want to be looking at everything on your report, but keeping your eye on the last 2 years worth of history. So if something comes on your credit report, and let's say you get a notice from someone, people are calling you, and it's a recent debt, those are the ones that you want to tackle. If you've got something from 5 years, then you may or may not want to tackle it, but you want to get those recent things in order first. That's what's going to really drive your score. Now, if you're looking to get a home, or you're looking to get a new credit card or financing for something like that, the creditors are looking at your score, and that's what's important to them, last 2 years. And sometimes people say, well, I filed bankruptcy, or I've had a repo, and they wonder why they can get certain things right away and why later on they can't get any credit at all. You want to be diligent with it, and you've got to make sure that no matter what you go through, you've got enough positives to counteract all the negatives that are showing up on your report. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide whether or not you should pay an old debt. Also, if you're not getting anything from an attorney or anything like that, you may not want to touch it at this time. You want to focus on the other things and then come back to that account later once you figured it out. A lot of times people can sit and look at their credit report, look at their collection accounts, and write out a list. That's the best thing that you can do when you're looking at your credit report. Sit down, write out a list of all the debts that you owe. If you see those collection agencies there, list them by year and list the amounts. Now, think about it. If you've got a collection account that's maybe for $100 and it's just got on your report, if you were to pay $10 every single month, that balance would be decreasing over time. So you got a $100 balance today, but you're only paying $10 on it. Guess what? In 2 months, that balance is only $80. And if you can keep doing that and you're still building up other positives on your report, that's going to go a long ways in strengthening your score. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I just wanted to know. Yes,
Okay.
I
Looks
just
like
wanted to know.
we're getting a little bit of
I
feedback.
can't pay my full balance on my credit cards. I'm getting unemployment.
Okay. And you're working with your credit cards right now? You said, and you're unable to
And I
pay?
wanted to know, what can I tell my creditors? Because I've been borrowing money from my mother, and my mother can't continue to keep helping me. So I'm going to hang up and hear your response. What can I tell the, like my credit card debtors? What can I do about it?
Okay. When you are working on trying to pay those credit cards off, I know it's probably extremely hard to do with your limited income, especially or with unemployment. It's like no way for you to even pay those bills.
Right.
So, first thing that you need to do is contact your creditors and be honest with them. Let them know you're not working. You don't have any money. You know you've got that debt. You want to pay it, but you just can't do it right now. And then, depending on who that creditor is, a lot of the creditors, they have programs that they will help you get set up on where they'll reduce your payment. And if you are unable to do that, you don't feel comfortable doing it, you don't know what to say, you can contact a counselor and they can help you with that process.
Okay, then
With that
let
process.
me write down the number. Okay, thank you. Bye. Let me write down the number. Keep it up there for 4 minutes. Bye.
Okay. We'll keep that up there because that's the best thing that you can do. Right now, your creditors they need to know that you can't make the payment, because if they don't know, they're going to keep harassing you, calling you, and adding on those fees. But you are able to find some sort of resources, and a lot of times the creditors, they do have programs available, and the counselors can help you as well because they can work on your behalf to help you in that situation. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, does paying off on my student loans help increase my credit score?
Now, when you're thinking about your student loans, it actually depends on what your debt to income ratio is. Now, if you can pay your student loans, you want to keep them reporting positively. And so until you get to the point where you can pay them completely off, then yes, you do want to make your payments on them, make sure that they're current. And if you ever get to the point where you can pay them off, it's really up to you. I always say if you can pay off all of your debt, then go for it. A lot of times, though, people can't afford to pay off their student loans and they don't know what to do. Best thing that you can do is try and set up a repayment plan, an income-based repayment plan, and that will give you the lowest possible payment that you can pay and still have your accounts be reported as current. Now, with the income-based repayment plan, of course, if you get to the point where you want to pay those debts off, you can call them and do that at that time. So it's really up to you as far as looking at what debts you should pay off and what debts you shouldn't. But keep in mind that once that debt is paid off, it will not report to the credit bureau anymore. So if it's reporting and that's the only thing that you have, then you may want to go and look at other lines and options of credit so that you can keep your score strong. Now, a lot of times the student loans, they help people, especially if they are reporting current, and they help people stay in good standing and strengthen the credit report. So, like I said, it's about taking that inventory and knowing what you want to do, what your goals are for the new year, and what your goals are for your financial stability. It's totally up to you. You can contact your student loan servicer to find out what options you have available as far as repayment, as far as paying them off early, and even knowing how many you have. Best thing you can do is just make sure you have them all, because a lot of times I've seen some people that are struggling with student loans and maybe only 2 loans are reporting on the credit bureau report, but they've got 11 loans and didn't even realize it. So you do want to go ahead and pull your report, and you can get a report that lists all of your student loans, and that's from the National Student Loan Database, and you can, that's NSLDS.gov. And you can contact a counselor and they can help you and give you that information as well, because the best thing that you can do is get that list, and that way you know what you're dealing with and what options you have. They'll also help you set up a repayment plan too, so you can get that information, get that going, and that's going to help your report. And we're talking about keeping our goals in mind for the next year, because like we said, resolutions don't necessarily work. You gotta modify your behavior to make things different and make things better for you. And it takes a lot of discipline to do that. So think about that when you're out shopping, when you're looking at your budget. It does take discipline. There's so many times where you want to buy something and you may not have that money. There's times where you have that money, but it's for something else. You don't want to short yourself and think about, okay, let me get this sweater right now instead of paying my bills. You always want to pay your bills first to keep yourself financially fit and strong. Looks like we've got a new caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, I currently don't have a credit score and can't get accepted for anything I apply for. What is the best way to start to build a credit score?
Okay. Now, if you don't have a credit score, there are a couple of options for you. You need to try and find some sort of financing. So you also need to think about why you don't have financing too. If you are under 21, a lot of times it's hard for you to get credit because you have to be at least 21 to be approved unless you're on your own. And then if you are on your own, you have to prove your stability by showing your employment information, that you've been on the job for a while, that sort of thing. So if you're looking to get something, I do recommend that you, 2 options for you. You can go into your bank, your financial institution, and ask if they have any credit rebuilding products. And a lot of banks, they do have secured cards, or they have loans that will help increase your score. So you want to look into that. Now, another place for you to go if you're looking for help with building up your credit, Bankrate.com. Highly recommend Bankrate.com because they have on their website a financial credit card calculator. And with this calculator, you put in those things that you're looking for. So let's say you want to look for a secured card. You go to the calculator, select the secured card. They may ask you a few questions about your income, about your stability, and then they will give you the best options out there for you. So that's a great place for you to go to. Another place, like I said, is just going to your bank and seeing what they have to help you build up your credit. So those are great options for looking at what will strengthen your score and build your score, especially if you've got no credit, because there are so many people that are struggling who do not have credit or who have a very low credit score and don't know what to do. So I'm glad you asked that question. If you've got some questions that you don't get a chance to ask on air, you can feel free to contact a counselor, and they're waiting to answer any question that you may have regarding debt, finances, and whatever types of money saving tips and ideas that you may need. They've got it. Next thing that we wanted to talk about or cover, or make sure that we cover before the new year hits, is dealing with collection agencies. I've seen so many people that are struggling with collection agencies, and 2 topics that I want to bring up with that. A lot of times people don't know what to do if they have collection agencies as a result of utility companies or collection agencies as a result of medical bills. So just want to make sure that I cover those really quickly as well. There's help out there for you. You just need to know where to get it. So if you have a collection agency that's reporting, that's a utility company, keep in mind utility companies typically don't report on your credit bureau. People's Gas, Nicor, Commonwealth Edison, they don't report on your credit bureau report until something goes wrong. So you want to make sure that you always stay in good standing with them. If you are struggling, you know you're on unemployment, you know you don't have a job right now, you need to contact your utility companies and let them know this, because you don't want them to report to your credit report. Now, there's the share programs that are available through the utility companies. Also, you can contact LIHEAP or CETA and get assistance through there. And then sometimes they have some options that will allow you to skip payments from time to time too, but you don't know if you don't ask. Now, got a consumer I was dealing with that was struggling because they had a People's Gas reporting on their credit report that was really bringing down their score. And they called People's Gas and they were able to set up arrangements directly with People's Gas to get that old balance taken care of, and it's being removed from their credit report because they were diligent enough to go back in after they saw that mishap and just work out arrangements for that. So that's always a great idea too. If you see something, you get collection notices and you see it on that credit report, first thing you need to do is call and find out information to get that taken care of. And like I said, if you can't pay the whole balance at one time, paying a little bit at a time until that balance is paid off, it really does go a long ways in helping. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm currently struggling with paying my utilities. Where can I get assistance for them?
Okay. Now, you do need to contact CETA or LIHEAP, which I do not have the number with me right now, but you can contact a counselor and they can pass that number on to you. But with the CETA program, when it's open, it's available, they've got some really great resources that they can help. They not only help you with your utilities, but they will help you if your car needs to be repaired. They will help you with medical bills. They will help you with if you need to find a dentist. These are all other resources that are available in this area to you to get assistance. So they can help you with that. Again, contacting the creditors directly, that goes a long ways too, because a lot of times these creditors, they have giving programs. The utility companies, they have giving programs where people who are paying on their bills each and every single month, they may throw in an extra $5 or $10 that you can qualify for, so that people can help pay your bill down too. There's a lot of charitable giving out, so you want to make sure that you do what you can to take advantage of it. Make sure that you meet the requirements and you get the help that you need. Don't wait. You need to do it because you don't. Last thing you want is for your utilities to be cut off. So you make sure that you stay in contact with your creditors about that. Next thing, if you're struggling with your medical bills, all medical care providers have charity assistance programs available too, and everyone qualifies for charity assistance. Now, depending on your income level, that depends on how much assistance you can actually get. I've had people where we've worked together and looked at their collections. They've got so many different medical bills that they couldn't afford it. There's one person who had $150,000 in medical bills, and by being diligent, applying for the charity assistance, that total debt was forgiven. But it takes you actually calling and going through the process. Now, when you do this, you need to call the billing assistance department at each medical facility. They all have them available. Now, I'm not talking about small doctor's offices, but the actual hospital, the hospital networks. They've got the charity assistance. You contact them, they will send you the application, or you can download it offline. Now, sometimes you may have to submit your W-2s, your tax forms, and proof of what your actual income is, but no matter what you submit to them, you will get a discount off of whatever medical care you are receiving. And that a lot of times will help, especially bridge the gap where insurance won't cover some of those costs. So it's always great to ask for it before they get to your credit report. You want to be diligent and start that right now. So be sure to contact them and reach out for assistance. With these creditors, you know that they're on your report. It's going to stay there for 7 to 10 years. All bad information stays for 7 to 10 years. And bad information will not be removed, especially if it's correct. Now, if it's not correct, different story. That's the dispute process, and we'll talk about that next week when we come back. But just keep that in mind. Looking at your report, remember, like I said, you thinking about next year, making those changes, modifying your behavior, take stock of your income, your expenses, look at your credit report, and look at those things that you can change and those things that you can get assistance for, such as with your utilities and your medical bills, because assistance is out there, you just need to find it. And we'll be back next week as we wrap up this series. So if you've got any other questions, you weren't able to call in, you can contact a counselor, 800-994-3328, and you can get the assistance that you need. I want you to be able to just look at it, find that assistance, And that way you can be on the road to financial freedom. We'll be back next week, and I'll talk to you then. Take care.